The National Orientation Agency of Nigeria is the body tasked with the responsibility of communicating government policies, staying abreast of public opinion, and promoting patriotism, national unity, and development of the Nigerian society. In the spirit of Valentine, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, has launched the Fall in Love with Nigeria campaign to promote patriotism, love, unity, and togetherness among Nigerians, especially the youths across the length and breadth of the nation. The essence is to promote the message of peace in all our endeavors, as the need to embrace peace and love, as well as believe in the project Nigeria, cannot be overemphasized. Let us not forget that no meaningful development can take place in any part of Nigeria in an atmosphere of rancor and bitterness. Therefore, as a Nigerian, I am sure you also have a role to play in the development of Nigeria. Now, what is the project Fall in Love with Nigeria all about? What is the role of government and the citizens in this project? How best can Nigeria promote love among citizens? How far can love and patriotism take us as a nation in terms of development? What are the factors that can naturally promote peace and love in a diverse country like Nigeria? Well, our guests shall be providing answers to these questions and more on this episode of Nigeria Today as we speak to issues around the Fall in Love with Nigeria project. It's Valentine's Day. My name is Lydia Ochi. Welcome to the program. With me in the studio to speak to the issues is SA to the Director General of National Orientation Agency, David Akoji. Welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
We also have the spokesperson, ICPC, Azuka Ogugwa. Welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you. Good evening, Nigerians.
You're welcome. Now, let me begin with David. Give us an overview of the Fall in Love with Nigeria project, the objectives, and what it is actually set to achieve.
Okay, you see, in many parts of the world, February 14th, being Valentine's Day, is a season where there's a lot of focus on the issue of love. Love for family, love for one another, love for children. There's a lot of conversation around love, February 14th. So some 9 years back, the National Orientation Agency felt, okay, let's leverage on that general feeling of love and then encourage citizens to be patriotic, to love their country, and to think about the positive things, that are good about our nation. And indeed, there are a lot of positive things about our country. This is not to say that as a country we don't have challenges. Yes, there's a lot of challenges, but sometimes when we focus completely on those challenges in exclusion to some of the positive things that are happening, then we get a warped view about our country. So, Fall in Love with Nigeria is conceived to direct citizens' attention to the positive things, about our country. For this year, 2022, we leveraged on our partnership with the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission. The National Orientation Agency had followed the ICPC and the Office of the Secretary to Government of the Federation in coming about a national policy on ethics and integrity. And following the ICPC, we had done several programs across the country to raise awareness on the value of ethics and the value of integrity. Okay. I'm sure when you speak to Azuka later, she will describe to you the 7 pillars of the National Ethics and Integrity Policy and how we found this as a foundation upon which to engage our children in schools. The National Orientation Agency had established integrity clubs in secondary schools across the country. So this year, we engaged them in a competition to develop personal-made video skits that speaks to their knowledge of the ethics and integrity policy, the principles around it, and how they can apply this in their lives towards nation building.
Okay. Azuka, he's already thrown a question to you. Tell us about these pillars and generally an overview of your partnership with the NOA.
Thank you very much. Well, the National Ethics and Integrity Policy is one of the initiatives that ICPC, working with her partners, including the National Orientation Agency, put in place to ensure that we restore values. When we talk about corruption, and that is what ICPC is set up to fight, we find that we can't go about it only by enforcement, that is arresting Nigerians that are corrupt and jailing them. There is a very important aspect to the fight against corruption, and that is prevention. So in doing our work of corruption prevention, we realize that we need to carry the citizens along. And you know, you have to think about how to go about this. And therefore, when we are drafting the National Ethics and Integrity Policy, we realize that the erosion of Nigerian values, the traditional values that we used to hold so dear, is one of the major causes of the rise of corruption in the country. And therefore, in drafting the National Ethics and Integrity Policy, we spoke to 7 core values that we thought should be back. And this is not just based on our thinking, it's backed by the Constitution, the ICPC Act, the NOA Act, and even the international laws like the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. So these core values, I'll speak to them now. The first one is human dignity. That value recognizes that every human being has inherent value, and that value should be respected. It speaks to the rights that we have and the need to respect that right, not just of yourself, respect the right of other people. Then the second one is voice and participation. That speaks to giving everybody their chance to be heard and their chance to participate in the way they are governed, the way decisions about them are made, and things like that. That's the second value. It speaks to leadership, it speaks to elections, it speaks to our inviting every citizen to make their voice heard. The third value is patriotism, which is one of the, which speaks about love, love for country. You know, we Nigerians, we are sometimes very quick to criticize, but you need to love your country. It's when you love your country you feel the need to give to your country. So patriotism is one of the core values, so that you can at least recognize what we have. We have so much here, and then we will work towards getting what we don't have. The other value is personal responsibility, which is a value we are calling on all Nigerians to take personal responsibility. Don't see it as something that others should be doing, them should be doing. It is all our business. Nigeria is our own. Take personal responsibility for the progress of this country. And then the next one is integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. Doing things consistent with your values, with the values and laws of the land. So that fifth value of integrity is one of the things we are pushing. People should learn to do the right thing. You don't have to wait until there is a policeman or road safety or VIO to do the right thing. No, and then the sixth value is national unity. In Nigeria today, there's so much talk about divisions, but we are really one. You are a family. In a family, even if there are 2 people, we don't have to agree on everything. But the important thing is to recognize that we are one. We are a family. And work from that. If you work from the point of national unity, you can resolve every difference we have. And finally, the last one is professionalism. In doing our work, in anything, in our studies, we should give it our best shot. We should do it with the highest standard possible. Anytime we have an opportunity to do our work, to offer service like public servants that we are, we should do it the best way possible. Those are the 7 core values of the National Ethics and Integrity Policy.
Thank you very much for educating us. Now, David, why is the project tied to Valentine?
You see, Valentine is a season that you get people to actually listen. You know, their hearts are calm. you know, people are generally excited and happy. They have receptive disposition. And so for us, in the course of our various campaigns across the country, we have had people say that, why don't you catch them young? Why don't you begin to sensitize them from a very tender age, when they are still impressionable, when they are still forming their habits and values? And so looking at that, we decided to take the National Ethics and Integrity Policy into schools, you know, to get children at that level to understand these 7 core values that Azuka just spoke about, and to know how to live their lives in conformity with these values. You know, Azuka also spoke about the erosion of our values, our traditional values. Now, if you examine each of these 7 pillars, you see that they relate to things that years back our parents, you know, used to live out in their lives. But somehow we seem to be losing, you know, this value disposition amongst our younger ones. You know, so we took this to schools and we created a video skit competition nationwide for schools, integrity clubs in schools in the 36 states and the FCT, you know, and we got close to 400 entries, you know, and you'd be amazed to see what these children were saying, how they were interpreting these values, and then you would appreciate the fact that, okay, there's indeed great hope, you know, for our country, based on the kind of understanding that the children were displaying in these kits that they submitted, you know, and winners emerged. The national first place winner emerged from a school in Taraba State.
Wow.
You know, the second place winner emerged from a school in Bauchi State. You know, and they were given trophies by the chairman of the ICPC, who was personally there to present these trophies alongside the Director General of the National Orientation Agency. And this was happening simultaneously with first place state winners in the 36 states and FCT. And our directors in the 36 states of the National Orientation Agency, working with representatives of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission in the states, were in the schools encouraging these children as they gave prizes to the winners. And to those who did not win but participated, we gave them certificate of participation to also encourage them. No one is really a loser.
Will
but
this
some
be an
people
ongoing
excelled.
thing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's going to be an annual thing.
Okay.
Moving from here now, inside our collaboration with ICPC, we want to begin to train the children on those 7 pillars, to interpret it the way you just heard Azuka interpret it now, each of those pillars, so as to get them to imbibe it and ingrain it in their hearts, you know, and have them live it out even as they grow up.
Okay. Now, Azuka, how best can Nigeria promote patriotism and love among citizens?
Well, there are many ways, and it's first to understand that we don't have any other home to call our own. And like David just said, we need to start from the youths. Start by telling the children, this is your home. You don't have any other home. The challenge of watching movies and wanting to travel out of the country is a challenge that we should actually turn around, optimize, and let the children know we can get Nigeria to be like these places you're talking about. These places that you want to go to study or to live because they have one thing or the other we don't have here yet. These places is because they have these core values. They are upholding these core values. So that's one of the ways to start young, to start by teaching the children. And ICPC actually, before this National Ethics and Integrity Policy, had what we call the National Values Curriculum, which is being taught. It was infused into existing school subjects, English, history, Christian religious studies and all that, Islamic religious studies, and business studies, to teach them. These are the values that we want you to have. Now, building on this, we developed the National Ethics and Integrity Policy, taking it even to the adults. So that is one way. Then secondly is to work on our nation. ICPC is here to fight corruption. When we reduce corruption, we will have a more equitable society. Everybody will feel that sense of belonging. That is one way to build patriotism.
Okay.
Because when somebody doesn't feel as if they belong, they wouldn't feel as if they should love the country. Okay. It's just like Valentine's Day, people are celebrating. You need to feel a connection with your partner. In the same way, we need to feel a connection with our country.
That's very true.
So
now, we'll take a break now. We'll come back and continue the conversation. Don't go away.
This is NTA News 24 broadcasting from Abuja. You can watch us anywhere, anytime on the following platforms.
Start Times Channel 101, Freak TV Channel 703, GSTV Channel 419, and Go TV Channel 46.
For more information, log on to our website www.nta.ng or join us on our social media handles, Facebook at NTA News 24.
For comments, suggestions and inquiries, send an email to news24@nta.gov.ng or call us on the following numbers.
NTA News 24.
News and more news.
Welcome back. The program is Nigeria Today, and we're talking about falling in love with Nigeria project. And our guests are still with us, SA to the Director General of National Orientation Agency, David Akoji, and the spokesperson, ICPC, Azuka Ogugwa. David, yes. What is the role of government and the citizens in ensuring lasting peace in Nigeria?
Well, one of the fundamental principles is the protection of lives and property, you know, and citizens need to understand the fact that government cannot provide security without the cooperation of the citizens. We all are aware that we do not have soldiers in every neighborhood, every community. We do not have policemen in every neighborhood, every community. So citizens need to be alert. We also need to be security conscious to do our part. We need to report suspicious movements around our neighborhoods so that the security people can do what is theirs, you know, to do where our security is threatened. And we think that citizens should become aware of this, because the finger pointing, you know, is not going to solve our security challenges, you know, around the country. And you must give kudos to our security agencies, the military, the police, the DSS, the civil defense, and all of them. Very many of them, very patriotic citizens, have lost their lives, have paid the supreme sacrifice in protecting citizens of this country. And so we need to show appreciation, we need to support them, and we need to provide them with intelligence, you know, that will enable them to do this, the job of securing the rest of us to the best of their abilities. If we do not provide this support, we will discourage them and empower the enemies. And we need to be very careful, you know, about this.
Azuka, tell us, what is the role of the private sector, the traditional institution, and religious leaders in the promotion and sustainability of peace in our country?
Thank you very much. The role of, let me start with the traditional institutions. They are the people at the grassroots, and even the religious leaders, because in some places the two are the same. A traditional ruler is a religious leader of a place, especially up north. But even where he is not, the religious leaders, they have a large following. People listen to them, they are role models, and they have access to a crowd of people, a congregation, people who listen to them, who speak to them. Now, their role is, because of the influence they have, they need to, they get to interact with these people, the grassroots, they get to interact with their congregations. People look up to them. So first they should live by example. They should show what should be done. They should not by themselves aggravate situations or stir up situations against that we call for a lack of peace. And then they should be peacemakers in their communities. They should be peacemakers settling issues favorable and equitably. They should be seen to be settling issues equitably also in there. That is one major role. We always talk it from ICPC perspective of their role in the fight against corruption. And when we talk about that, we talk about their role in actually not rewarding the corrupt, actually making people to probe the sources of wealth of some people that are suspiciously rich, ask the sources of wealth, and set by example. Don't be distracted or don't be fooled by the, because when some people come with a lot of money, they will get you to give them chieftaincy titles or titles in church or in mosques or wherever. So you need to be very careful to question and lead your congregation and your followers to question the sources of wealth and know that not every wealth is accepted in your community. That is one major role they can play in fighting corruption, in institutionalizing peace in their communities. Our leaders, our traditional rulers also have a role to play in rewarding hard work, in rewarding those that are actually doing the right thing. It's not just all about punishment. You bring out the role models and show you are supposed to be a role model, but you also bring out the role models and reward them. So these are some of the things they can do.
In a nutshell, you're talking about value reorientation, especially at the grassroots. And of course, the family as the unit of the society has a lot of responsibility. Now, David, in a few words, can you enumerate some of these things that the atmosphere of peace can bring to a nation like ours?
The atmosphere of peace is a requirement for any meaningful development in any country in the world. And so, for all of us who desire to see progress, progress in infrastructure, progress in education, progress in the health sector, we need to participate in ensuring that peace is established. No country can progress under a situation of chaos, and violence. And it's not up to government alone to ensure that we have this peace that we all desire. In our conduct as citizens, in our relationships, in the way we perceive each other, in our de-emphasis of our fault lines, because most countries of the world have fault lines, even the ones that we tend to celebrate and look up to. In the Western countries, the developed democracies and all of that, they have their fault lines. So yes, Nigeria has its fault lines, but all of us together as citizens need to de-emphasize this, to build bridges across those fault lines, and to ensure that we work together to achieve that great Nigeria of our dream.
Thank you. And finally, Azuka, any parting words as we round up this program? Thank you.
I just want to say that the fight against corruption is a responsibility of all Nigerians. The fight to reintroduce the values, to uphold the positive values that made us great before, is our personal responsibility. It's everybody's personal responsibility, and we should all take that responsibility, starting from our family units to schools to our workplaces. That way we will make Nigeria great again. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said. This is where we'll say goodbye on this episode of the program, and our discussion has been on Falling in Love with Nigeria project. With me had been the SA to the Director General of National Orientation Agency, David Akoji. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
And the spokesperson, ICPC, Azuka Ogugwa. Always nice having you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
We also appreciate you, our viewer, for always being there. I am Lydia Ochi. Don't forget you can watch these and other episodes of Nigeria Today on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.
419, Star Times channel 101, Go TV channel 46,